Welcome to Chasing K-Dramas, the podcast that dissects popular Korean dramas episode by episode. We delve into the characters, themes, and everything in between. I'm Dulcé Sloan, here with my co-host,
Chrissy, Choi. Okay, so we are on episode 2.
Yeah, we are.
Of Marry My Husband. And listen, this is another wild one.
Yes.
They're all wild, let's be honest. Every single drama we're going to cover is wild, extra wild.
Absolutely. Why would we cover a boring one?
Wild cubed. Okay, wild cubed.
Come on, Cube.
So this episode is titled Jiwon Makes New Friends. I'm very excited for Jiwonie. I really am.
What a Sesame Street situation.
Yeah, no, she makes friends.
Needs these friends because her friends and her boyfriend are trash.
Absolute trash bags. So our key moments that we're going to talk about. So Jiwonie makes friends at work. Yay. She starts manipulating trash bag Minhwan and hussy Sumin. We see hussy's true colors as she starts scheming behind Jiwon's back. So she has a lot of things up her sleeve. This girl is a wild ass yo fox. She is the definition of a fox.
I see it.
A yo. She's a yo.
Because Tae was nothing like this.
No, Tae was a sweet, sweet little angel.
Tae was a victim.
This one,
she's a
Sumin
perpetrator.
is the level of like I can see her becoming a Wosuri.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
She's Wosuri's long lost daughter.
But again, and doing dirt with no reason.
Yes. Well, we'll figure it out. But
at least we get back. Like later on, we get backstory on Sumin as to why she's doing what she's doing. Mostly we never find out.
She's awful. Okay, and then we learn more about how Jiwonie was bullied when she was in high school. Listen, Korean bullying culture in Korea. I guess there's bullying culture in America too, but not as like this stuff is visceral when you're watching this.
It seems to be a theme. My question is, we ain't just knocking motherfuckers out.
It's just like I just don't get it. I just really don't get it culturally. I don't get it.
I guess I've never understood. I think I might have bullied and I think I might have been bullied, but it wasn't enough for it to be like truly impactful.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody has a little bit of bully and everyone's been like bullied.
Yes. I had a weird phase when I was younger where I was kind of like, I got in trouble because I was trying to be queen bee. I got in trouble though, and I nipped that in the bud real quick because my parents, my teachers were just like, no. I felt very bad.
Play your instrument and get your grades. Don't do this.
Like go practice piano, go practice cello. You're not going to do this, and I learned from that. But it's actually interesting what. But
I think I moved too much as a kid, so because it's like I went to 5 elementary schools.
Oh yeah.
But I went to 2 middle schools and 1 high school. So if you're really going to bully, you got to get that in really in the middle school situation.
Listen, I switched middle schools after 6th grade.
Oh, I switched middle. I went to,
that is a humbling experience.
Oh, I went from, so in Miami, the school I went to had like kindergarten and 5th and 6th grade. So that school was funky because the entire place got destroyed by Hurricane Andrew. And so I had 6th grade in Florida and then I had 6th grade in Atlanta, like city of Atlanta, and then Gwinnett. And the city of Atlanta school was insane. I came home. I went there for 4 months. I came home every day and asked my mom when we were moving.
We will talk more about bullying because this entire series is about bullying.
Well, that I can
it's
say
kind of triggering in certain like moments.
I don't think I got bullied enough to get triggered, but what I can say, I never understood cyberbullying.
I would say this when I'm watching this. For me, these signs that Sumin's character, the things that she does,
yes,
I would say at a very young age in middle school, when I saw girls do that, I was very quick to distance myself from people like that.
Yes.
So we open with the scene where Jiwon is at a coffee shop, right? And she's waiting for her to get her coffee. But this random woman comes and steals someone else's coffee order.
Steals a woman in disguise. This Carmen Sandiego bitch comes sliding through.
Yes.
And steals this man's coffee.
Right. And so basically she realizes, okay, she goes, if no one had taken it, the coffee would have just been wasted. But now someone's angry. So she's talking about like causation, right?
So like if the coffee gets made and no one takes it, it's one thing. If the coffee gets made and it's stolen, that's one thing. If the coffee gets made and the person it's meant for takes it, that's another thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
This leads her to a bigger conclusion that, again, she repeats what we ended at the last episode. She needs someone to steal her fate as Trash Bag's wife. Right?
So someone needs to be Trash Ass's wife.
Yeah. And there's a voiceover. If anyone were to steal my fate, it would be you, Sumin. You've always needed to take what was mine to feel satisfied.
But the fact that you've known that the entire time and still stayed friends with her
exactly
is crazy.
And this is where Jiwon's character, right? She was a weak person. I mean, there's no other way of putting it.
Yes.
But I also think, like, as we learn more about what Sumin did to her, I think Sumin caused this to happen. Like, she has been victimized her whole life by this woman, by this girl, right? So she truly felt like she had no one but Sumin, because Sumin orchestrated all of it. She is Mosuri. She is, like, basically little Mosuri making the plan. I mean, this is another, like, she's our age, right? Like 30 something. This is a 30-year-old con. She's known her since she was little. And she's been conning her the entire time.
But if she'd have just put her energy into something else.
I know.
She could have just conned a man.
I mean, she tried. She is conning men. Now she is as an adult.
But she could have, listen, she's in, because they're 31, right? So it says that
she's a little bit older.
Yeah, she said, because she says when she goes back to 2013, I'm 31 again.
Damn.
Yeah. So, because you need time to become a manager. So being in her 20s doesn't make sense. But it's like, if y'all are the same age and all of this time that you've been trying to take what was Jiwon's, you could have hustled some man, some ajushi, and then you wouldn't have to work in this office.
Which is, again, makes her character psychotic, because she, again, only covets what Jiwon has. Because you're absolutely right. She could have done that for herself.
She could have used her powers for her own good.
She's pretty. She's very pretty.
She doesn't listen.
She's conniving. She's manipulative. She seems smart. She's not an idiot.
But I've always said true crazy is never successful. No. It's never. When you meet someone who's truly like, oh, you're not okay. Something happened to you. You're not all right. Then you back away. Listen, you can't be full-time crazy and be full-time successful. So that's what lets you know how weak of, like, not character, but just self-esteem.
Yeah, her self-esteem is so low.
But that's by design. Because Sumin does everything she can to make sure
her self-esteem is that low, because she is a fucking lunatic. The worst. So
I don't have the energy for shit like this.
I don't either. Like, people like this, women like this, I'm like, get away from me. Like, genuinely, there are people like this. There are people who try to bring other friends down, and you're like, you know what? So we jump then to the scene. She's at work. She leaves the coffee shop. She's at work. She has her coffee. She sees Sumin flirting with her manager.
What is it? Green sleeves?
Green sleeves. The 과장님. And then she goes into the elevator. And then as soon as the door is about to close, our sexy manager comes and like blocks it. And
sexy manager.
And then he also like looks at Jiwon like very awkwardly. Like he like stares at her. It's a very intense look. And then everyone's a bit uncomfortable.
I miss a man looking at me like this.
I know. Girl.
What do you... Mr. Thomas, you don't be looking at... Show him the clip. Nothing.
It's fine. But
look up the clip at the beginning of this episode where old boy, not now, but just know that you got to start looking at her like she's a plate of ribs or some shit.
Yeah, he looks at her with so much, like, it is just so intense.
He looked hungry.
He looks hungry. And then, of course, the crazy manager, right?
Has to always be so ugly to her.
I know, he's being mean. And then literally Jihyuk slams
his hand on the wall of the elevator.
To be like, shut the fuck up. And everyone quiets down.
Also, he's so much bigger than him.
I know.
He's so much bigger. He's head and shoulders, knees and toes above everybody.
I know.
So when he slams his hand on the elevator, I can tell you this. I am a very strong woman. Mm-hmm. But I have like a couple of male friends that they're just like, we're not doing, like if we're in a conversation, like, I'm not doing this. I just go, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Like there's just certain people.
Yeah, that's him.
Where you're just like,
that's him.
Aye, captain. Like I'm not. Absolutely. So the elevator wall, it's
Yeah. Jihyuk, sexy manager, asks Jiwon to meet him privately, okay?
well, you also have to remember the shady way that Sumin tries to stick up for her in the elevator.
What does she say?
When she's getting attacked by manager Kim,
Oh, God.
she's kind of like, well, you know our G1. Like, she tries to stick up for her, but it's always the way she sticks up.
Backhanded. It's always
always backhanded.
It's always passive. There's always something. She's like needling her in some way.
There's a comic, Joelle Nicole Johnson. She calls it a compusult.
Yes. She is the queen of that. Yes,
So it's
yes,
like
yes,
it's a
It's a
backhand
compliment, insult.
No, yes, at the same time. She's like, well, you know, our G1. And just like,
Oh, about her getting the coffee, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Because she was basically insinuating that she's not really working. She's out like during her work hours.
but that's what manager Kim was fucking with her about. It's like, oh, you're getting coffee? You should have been doing this. You didn't get coffee for everybody else.
Yeah. So sexy manager takes her to the roof, right? So they're chatting.
To let her enjoy her coffee because he thought it would be awkward if she tried to drink it at her desk.
Which was very sweet.
Because Breen Sleeves would have been yelling at her.
It's just so sweet. And then she tells him about the story of her dad.
She also offers to let him drink the coffee. She's like, I didn't drink any of it yet. He's like, just drink your coffee.
But she tells him the story about her dad drawing the heart
on her money.
And then he kind of like, and then Chio kind of perks up. And we learn why he kind of perks up at that later.
Because you see him look at the money and she says, I'm the kind of daughter who was loved.
Right. So then he kind of perks at that.
Which is crazy that she's letting people treat her like this if she was the kind of daughter who was loved.
Mm-hmm. And then he's like, hey, do you have plans this weekend? And as soon as she's about to answer,
do you have plans on Sunday?
Hussy comes over and she's like, she already has plans. She's going to go to barbecue with me. And he's like, okay.
Do you have plans on Sunday? She's going to get barbecue with me at this new spot. And he's like, and she says the name of the spot. And he's like, okay. And then Sumin's like, let's go get coffee. And she's like, no, I'm good. I'm all right.
So I wanted to kind of talk about office titles here because this drama, because it's like a workplace drama too, right? Because so much, also they're never working, but it cracks me up. But
love it.
So Jihyuk, right? He's a general manager. So we call him 부장님. So every time, like all the characters call him 부장님, right? 부장님.
So Mr. Manager.
The manager Kim, the psycho guy with the sleeves, right? He is the manager, regular manager, right? Right under him. He's a 과장. So they call him 과장님, okay?
So he's basically a fucking supervisor.
Okay.
All right.
And then Jooran, her friend, right? They're both assistant managers and they're called 대리.
So they have the same title.
They have the same title, but what they do is they change their last name. So if you've noticed, sexy manager calls Jiwon Kang 대리.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's Kang manager, like assistant manager.
So manager Kang. Yeah.
Yeah. Manager. Yeah. Exactly. And then Jooran is Yang. So it's Yang 대리. So just for all of us to know. So it's 부장, 과장, 대리.
So say it again. 부장, 과장,
대리. Yeah. 강대리, 윤대리, 과장님, 부장님.
영들이. 삼다리. Everything's 다리.
Jihyuk goes back and he's like, he's actually looking into Jiwon's records,
which was crazy.
A little. Well, I guess you can I can see my direct reports. Private information, not to the extent I don't think I could see their addresses and stuff like on the HR things.
I mean, isn't your address on your resume?
No, not
nowadays. You don't put your.
You don't. I just put my. You don't really have to. You just put your email address, and I just.
But when you fill up, when you get a job, you have to put your address down.
Yeah, but I think usually it's a HR violation for everyone to see everything. Like no one needs. Like I don't need to see like my, my assistant's like email address, like a home address.
Oh,
yeah, that's technically considered. But I guess in Korea it's different because he literally saw everything.
Well, because he looked up her high school and he's like, all right, here's the high school, and then he calls somebody.
I know.
To talk more about her high school, and then in the office he looks up her high school and calls the restaurant to confirm the reunion that's happening the same day.
Yeah.
So the contact tells him there's a reunion. And then he's like, okay, calls the restaurant, and then he calls his homeboy, and he asks him to find someone that he asks him to find somebody.
Yes.
And we don't know who this is.
Yes.
And then while he's in the midst of doing all of this Is sexy manager on the case?
He's on the case, but
it needs to be sexy manager investigates.
But initially, it was weird. When you're watching this,
yes,
you're like, is this man a stalker? Because again, at this point, yes, he's hot and he's kind, but it's like, why the are you investigating this lady's background? Like,
also,
this is just got a little little stalkery.
If you've watched enough Korean dramas, you're like, is he the second lead? Is he the first lead? You're trying to get Sumin to marry Minhwan, so it's like, okay, that can't be the romantic lead. So who's the first? Now, if he's the first,
he is the first lead. Yes.
Then
so we kind of know that he's a good guy, but
he can do no wrong.
I know,
but this is some Creepenstein shit. Unless he's like, it's like, okay, he's researching something for a reason.
Yes, and you're kind of like, okay,
let's see what happens. While he's in the midst of this research, Jiwon comes in and offers him so much medicine for this scar. Yeah, because she saw it at the restaurant. And I'm sure she feels very guilty. Like, even though she's like, well, I didn't want him to get my fate because he's being so nice to me. And he basically is like, take care of yourself first. And he splits the pills in half. And I looked at me and my mom are sitting there watching it because she had to watch the second episode. Yeah. And I was like, damn, how hard is he to tear? I was like, how strong is he to tear a blister pack and like that? And my mother goes, it's perforated.
Yeah, it's perforated.
And I was like, Because I take a probiotic and it's in a blister pack.
And it's hard for you to open.
But it's not perforated. You just gotta pop them things out yourself.
Sometimes I just use a scissor.
Well, I don't ever have to cut it
for that. You know what I do? I stab the scissor, you know where the pill is, and that
I just take my nail.
Oh yeah, you have nails. I don't. These are literally, guys, my recording nails.
I love this.
I'm going to literally pop them off later, and then I'm going to stick them back on in our next recording because,
gorgeous. Because that's like, I mean, I do bring them to you every episode.
You know, but you do your nails every
time. Listen, if I don't have children, so this is all I have. But he's like, take care of yourself first, which is a journey I think we're all on right now.
It is. Also, for a man to tell, like, you know, he's saying all the right things.
He's saying all the right things as someone who's had a man say all the right things, but still not want to be with you. It's very frustrating.
The K-drama version of Mr. Darcy. We should just call him Mr. Darcy, actually.
Should we?
I like Mr. Darcy. Mr. Darcy, you like Jane Austen, no?
Girl, I mean,
I'm watching a Masterpiece PBS. Well, it was, on like British TV. But I'm watching it on my Masterpiece account.
Yes, I have that too.
Sanditon.
Okay, that's the one with the black girl on it, right?
Yeah, it's really good.
I've been trying to figure it out.
It's the unfinished Jane Austen novel.
Okay.
Oh my God, we should call it that. Anyways.
Listen, I'm just waiting for the Gilded Age to come back.
It is. It's coming back soon.
Oh. Yeah. Listen. So, because you know how I feel about my boy. Okay, so it's very nice. Take care of yourself first. Stop worrying about other people. Mm-hmm. And so then we have the closet scene. Because, so this is, she sits down at her desk and this is the ping. Again, no one's working. Unless she's getting yelled at about a proposal, no one's working. And so she's like, hey, he's like, ping, come talk to me. She's like, So they both pop up. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I'll talk to you. And then he starts acting a fool. Pulls her into it. I was like, I just want to have a conversation because she doesn't want to be alone with him.
So this is when the egg yolk comes out. So this is what cracks me up. So
okay, tell us more about the egg yolk.
So you know the cutesy, right? Mm-hmm. She was just like, what does she say? She goes, she was like, 몰라. Like, I don't know.
Listen, I spend a lot of time saying bula. Once I hear Anya say on the go, I was like, bula.
몰라, 얘기 안 할래. She's like doing this, and he's like instantly melted. And he's like,
I want a relationship that'll make other people jealous.
I know. So I just actually love when Jiwon does this because you kind of, obviously we know she's faking it, but she has moments where she's like overly cutesy or like overly, she'll smile. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I really like that. Again, the actress is really good, but she's doing this weird egg yolk. And she's just like, I just want to be in a more passionate relationship. I want a relationship where, other people are jealous of us, blah, 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 blah. And then he's like, oh, really? And he like moves in and he tries to kiss her. And she's clearly like, she grabs a wrench.
A wrench behind her.
And then he's about to plant one. And then the assistant manager, young assistant manager comes in and she stops it from happening, right? Mm-hmm. And what I really like.
This is a very interesting conversation.
Yeah. And she's basically saying, I know you guys are in a relationship, but consent is consent.
Right.
You don't have to do things that you don't want to do.
Even if you're in a relationship with him.
Mm-hmm. And she's like, I'm just telling you because I've been in that situation before. You're a smart girl, so you should know that. I love this. I was like, holy crap, great. You know, you have someone clearly who's like looking out for her because you know she was watching her in the office in the bullpen because she saw how Minhwan called her in. And you can tell visibly that she, like, Jiwon doesn't want to see him. So she sees that, she clocks that, and she follows them.
She also beat him up at the job.
Too, like a couple days ago.
A couple days before.
Thank God, though. Thank God there's someone's there.
But it's like you've been, I mean, she's saying that I've been in this situation before.
Yeah.
And that's very important because I said to somebody, I was like, women will see it. Men never. It's like some men see it. Most men don't. Women always clock it. We're just like, oh, she's not okay.
She's not feeling safe.
She's not feeling safe. She's not feeling comfortable.
Yeah.
But 99% of the time, it's like, hey, girl, hey. She's like, hey, what's up? Hey, oh, this is my friend. Oh, I was waiting for somebody. And it's almost like this unwritten thing. And I don't know I don't remember being taught this.
We just kind of know. It's just instinctual.
Yeah, because I'm just like, oh, because it was one of my friends one time. I was like, oh, what's interesting is if I'm with a male friend, and the number of times where I've seen my male friends clock a woman is uncomfortable, and I didn't even see it because he was watching the guy. Yeah. So I'm watching the girl. He watched. So like I didn't realize
he can see the guy doing. Yeah.
So he sees the guy doing things, and he's like, oh, I need to step in. Because she's not comfortable. He's like, yeah, I pay attention to all the men in a space.
Interesting.
Because men pay attention to the men in spaces because who's going to be the first one to do something that could be dangerous? Going to be a man in a space.
See, that is what we call in Korean dunchi. Remember dunchi? I said it. Being able to clock what's happening.
Yeah.
Understanding your environment, catching on to things. Dunchi.
Because it's funny because you'll see the man clock it and then he'll go get her.
Not many men have dunchi though. So that man, whoever is doing that.
Nice man. It's a good man. I have a lot of male friends that are just like, I think that girl's uncomfortable. You might want to go get her. Because here's the thing. If you're a man that clocks that, if you're the one that goes over to make the girl, it's like the girl's already uncomfortable by a different dude. And you're walking up to help. But I don't know you either, bro. So now you're just a second dude.
Yeah. And you're just like.
It's like, no, one of the nice ones. He's like, nope, I've heard that before. I can't trust you. But anyway, so that's great that she shows up. And it's that fun thing that starts their friendship.
Right. And then I think this is when Jiwon starts understanding, oh, there are other people around me that are good. And she's opening her eyes up a bit because in the past,
she couldn't see them.
She couldn't see them because she only saw Sumin and she only saw Minhwan. She only saw two people. But
Sumin made sure she only saw her.
Exactly. And then she did too in a weird way, you know. Everyone was just manipulating her left and right, you know?
Crazy.
So the next scene. This is nuts because we start understanding who Sumin really is.
Yes.
Because there's some crazy ass stuff. So they're about to get lunch, okay? It's lunchtime. Also, I love a Korean cafeteria. I want to say, when I studied abroad in Korea at Yonsei University, their cafeteria, I was obsessed with it. Like you literally, it's those trays. It's like Korean food every day. And then the cheokbokum, the thing that she wants to eat, it's the stir-fried pork. So good.
You know, offices in America used to have.
Yeah, they used to. I mean, we got in tech, it was different. We had cater food and stuff, but actually, the Spotify office right before I left, they started doing that. We had a cafeteria situation. So
let me tell you something.
And Google does that too.
It's the most efficient.
Yeah, because you don't want them to go outside. You want people to stay inside and eat and do everything.
Because if I can get lunch downstairs, I'm more likely to work and eat my lunch.
Yes. But I just love seeing.
Oh, I love a
cafeteria, like because it's Korean food.
The way she she put so much rice on that tray.
She's doing that because she's pissed. She's annoyed because she wanted Indian food, right?
So what the f*** is taking all that rice do?
No, because she's passive aggressive. She's like angry, so she's like pounding it. That's why. So because Jiwon says she was like, whenever Sumi doesn't get her way, she acts out. So it's her like pissed and she's annoyed, so she's getting all this food because she's cranky. And this is what causes her to want to trip Jiwon up, is because she didn't get her way. She wanted Indian food, but Jiwon said, no, we got to eat in the cafeteria. Fucking crazy.
But if she puts all this food on this tray, when she dumps all the food on her.
Yeah. So it's all planned. So she has all this food, right? And then Jiwon realizes, she's like, oh, I remember this moment when this happened. She got all that curry, whatever it was, spilled all
over her face. And then while she's trying to wipe it off of her, her tray tips. So her own food falls on her. And then while Sumin's trying to help her. But this is what I love about this actress who plays Sumin.
She's so good.
When she's cleaning up Jiwon, you see her sad and smiling. Like, simultaneously.
She's so good. She's so good.
And I was just like, I was like, I would have loved to see the audition for this.
She is a fantastic actress.
Too bad she was awful in school.
Her and Minhwan, her trash ass, they're brilliant
They're
actors.
so good.
They're so fucking good. They're so believable. You want to fucking hate them. God, you see it in her eyes. Like,
yes.
You can see the evil in her eyes. And you can kind of see, like, you know, when she tears up, you know it's fake. You know she's crying, but you know it's fake. And you're just like,
and that's why, and people ask me, why do I like these shows? And I was like, because the acting.
Oh, so good. Unparalleled.
I don't know who the teachers are. I don't know what the training is. But it's like they need to start doing, like, I was like, I know there's Meisner and Stanislavski. There needs to be like K-drama. Like there needs to be, because there's not a lot of people that can do this method. I love how there's these moments where she's like, oh, I remember this. And I'm going to spill on this food on you. And she does this passive aggressive nonsense. And she remembers that moment. And so so she dodges Sumin. And then trips her.
Puts her little leg out, trips her, and then...
and then somehow she takes Minhwan down with her. And...
all over me.
She remembers being humiliated with the spilled curry. So this time she flips the script and it's like, I won't fall for it again.
Yep.
But the shirt...
that authentic shirt, that is a fake designer that they just made up. But the authentic shirt, it is covered.
I looked up...
gochujang.
So I looked up how much money. So they were like, oh, I paid 1,200 won for this shirt.
It's $1,200. 1,150.
Oh no, girl! I looked it up. It's $800.
Oh, the conversion now. The dollar is so strong.
And so
poor Korea, man.
I was like,
that conversion rate is wild.
Conversion is wild, and I looked it up, and I said,
go to Korea right now
because my mother,
our economy's all up too, so I don't know if we can go.
But my mother was like, "What?" I said, "It's $800 something dollars." She's like, "For girl, no." But we do have a fun introduction of a new character.
Jiwonie.
First of all,
Heeyeon.
Heeyeon.
Was it Heeyeon?
Yeah.
Heeyeon. Sorry. Heeyeon. I misspelled it in that one section. Heeyeon.
Love
so
this.
Cute.
She is adorable. She reminds me of my niece. My niece is cute like this.
She reminds me of those anime characters, the big eyes, like, you know, the people who are super like cutesy. Like, she just reminds me of that. She's like a walking Energizer bunny.
The way she gets so excited about food.
She's like, you're so fun. You're so great. I love you so much. And she's genuine about it.
Because the way they become friends is Jiwon goes in the bathroom and she goes, hey, is there anyone there? I need assistance. And if you're in a restroom and you hear a woman say that,
you know exactly what that is.
Exactly what she's talking about.
You pull it out of your purse and you give it under the stall. You're like, here you go. I got you, girl.
Listen, but we've all been through this. And so she gets her a pad and then she has these white pants on. And I love how she looks in the back and she's like, okay. And she throws this jacket around her. Yeah. And she calls her hero.
Yeah, she is a hero.
And then she says, I asked for help earlier and the girl didn't help.
And guess who that girl is?
This hussy Sumin.
She is a fucking bitch.
And she's just like, well, if you aren't prepared, why should I help you? Bitch, there's so many times. It's like your period in your 30s, early 30s, late 20s. This bitch is still strong. That whole cup, I remember I used to spot, then have a period, then keep spotting.
Well, yeah, I would have a tampon and I would have panty liners because you know that thing's going to drip.
Yeah, it's just like, that's why I also was like, these tampons, unless I'm going like swimming.
Yeah.
But
nowadays I heard the cup. People use the cup.
But I remember one of my friends telling me she was in a yoga class and the cup tipped and runneth over. I don't understand that cup situation. She's like,
or remember that underwear?
Oh, I've used those. Those are genius.
Really?
Yes, those are fucking great.
What was the brand again?
That
was all the rage.
Thinks, because I remember when they first came out, they sent me a pair. And the thing is, so it's not supposed to be like for a heavy period, just like a light to moderate. And so I had them on one day and I thought it was moderate. And then that bitch came out swinging and it ended up being heavy. And I liked them because, you know, when you have a pad on, you get like moisture and it still feels, the Thinks ones, you didn't feel wet at all. The only thing is I f***ed mine up because I washed them.
Yeah.
So I washed them and then I let them air dry and I was like, well, let me put them in the washing machine. So let's like sink wash them because you're not supposed to put them in the dryer.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
And so I machine washed them and there was another pair of black panties in my mind. And so I forgot to not to put them in the dryer.
Oh, and then you put them in
and then I put them in the fucking dryer. But there's ladies there's a woman on TikTok, she makes cloth pads. So they're like reusable.
God, I hate being a woman.
I don't, because I love the idea of giving birth to a person.
No, but the whole like, why do you have to bleed all the time?
I think we should just lay eggs like chickens. I think once a month I get this egg. Or a period should last one day. One day it all comes out and then you're done. It should not be it's like a pre thing and then the thing and then sometimes a post thing. So I saw a guy on TikTok. He's like, if you were in a relationship, he's like, she's got the pre and then she's got the week of it. And then the post, he said, there's only 1 week a month where she's fucking He said, and you're stressing her out? Yeah. Sir.
My mom used to say when she was little, she's like, I used to get on my hands and knees and pray to the Lord to help me because the pain was so bad. They leave the bathroom, right?
Yes. And they're best friends.
They're besties already. So they sit down and Sumin's just like, where were you? Like, I had to take care of this by myself. And she points to Minhwan's shirt, you know? And Minhwan's just like, it is what it is at this point, you know? And then Jiwon's just kind of like, well, you know, like, oh, that's the shirt I bought. I know how much, you know, they talk about how much it cost.
1,200 won.
Yeah.
Which was like $800.
Yes. And then Sumin's like, oh, I can pay for it. But then she's like, actually, I'm like an intern. So, and he's like, you know what? Don't worry about it. Because she's a fucking little yo, right? Why even offer? Why even fucking offer?
But this low-key flirting.
Oh, yeah. Just blatant. Not even low-key. I think it's like blatant. It's the aegyo. So that's what aegyo is. Like, she does that to every man. She's like, you know, like that is like, the aegyo.
I'll pay you back, but I don't really have it. And then she starts being, of course, she has to be passive-aggressive.
She is being a little Bia to our new friend Heeyeon,
who we love.
She's sitting there, she's eating her food, with a lot of gusto, she's excited to eat, and of course Sumin's like, oh my god, you eat a lot for a woman. And like, she's like, my grandpa told me that you need to be healthy, right? You need to be strong. You should be eating in order to be like,
you got to eat to work.
Yeah. And then she's like, oh, I guess your grandfather works in like, he makes panchan for a living. Like, she's being so
like, oh, he makes side dishes, and you're like what?
So fucking mean. And then Heeyeon, being the bigger person she is, she just ignores it. And then this is when Jiwon starts like, you know, standing up for her, starting to defend her, all of that, right? So then Heeyeon goes to get Jiwon water because she's like, you're my hero, I'm gonna get you water. And this one, Sumin's just like, will you get me water too? She's like, nah, bitch, I'm not gonna get you fucking water, you do it yourself.
Because she was like, what? And she was like, well, she's like, well, you're getting up, you're getting water. She's like, am I supposed to do your work too? I don't think she's used to people telling her no.
Yeah. And then Jiwon, actually, what she does is she tells her, hey, you're being rude, and B, like, you shouldn't be treating people like this, basically is what she says. And again, Sumin gets upset. And then Jiwon and Heeyeon leave, right? And then Sumin and Minhwan are together. And they're going into the elevator. And this is a weird-ass little moment. So then they get pushed in the elevator. There's a lot of people. So
I don't understand this elevator scene. There's more elevators at this place.
Exactly. So Sumin is pinned up against the wall. Minhwan is there. And she is like, they're literally on top of each other.
She's trying not to touch him, but trying to touch him.
Yeah. And then she's like, she smells him and then she whispers into his ear, what kind of cologne do you have? And he's just like literally trying to like keep himself like fanning.
Keep his composure.
Yeah, exactly.
So gross. And then eventually like there's like some moan sound.
That was my what the moment.
And I was
girl
like,
what moment.
Oh my God.
There's so many girl what moments.
Girl, we didn't even do a girl what moment last episode because it was like the first
the
episode.
entire episode is
a
girl what
moment. And I was just like, because I was like, I couldn't even think of.
Because every moment is absolutely crazy. But the little moan sound, hilarious, hysterical. I was like cackling. Okay. So then while this is happening, Jihyuk, right? We got to go back to Mr. Darcy, sexy manager. He goes and he looks for a chef. Okay.
Okay. Darcy Ajushi.
Darcy Ajushi. Okay. Darcy
Okay.
Ajushi. Yeah. Okay. So Darcy Ajushi.
Oh, no. Darcy Nim.
Darcy Nim.
Darcy Nim.
Tassi Nim. Okay, so Darcy Nim. Mm-hmm. So he goes and he finds this like famous chef. This is super random. Peg Unho, okay? Peg Unho. Peg Unho chef, famous chef. They go, he meets him and he's like, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I don't think he gets to that part yet. No, they just meet. Then we go into, I would say, Jiwon's meal kit. So how the slush fund was in Queen of Tears. I feel like this is our version, right? The meal kit is our version of the slush fund because this meal kit
because we're always looking for the meal kit. We're trying to figure out what's up on the meal kit.
It's everything is around. So the meal kit is Jiwon's idea, right? That she's been pitching. So she basically wants to create because they work UNK is like kind of like a BBGO, right? Conglomerate. They're making all this food.
BBGO, if you'd like to sponsor us.
I know. BBGO, CJ, yeah.
Anybody. I just want to be able to bring my brother so many dumplings.
Yes. So she wants to create this meal kit where it's for single people working, right? She wants to create meal kits for the single person.
I've seen those. There's a grocery store in the UK.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Was it the M&S one?
Oh, Mark and Spencer's.
Yes. And I walked in there and I was like, well, this is wasteful as shit, but I get it.
Yeah. So she wants to come up with this meal kit. She had presented this, right, to the crazy manager and he yelled at her, didn't read anything, all of that, right? So she wants to bring this proposal up again because I'm kind of going back and forth because this proposal 10 years ago, right, when she proposed it, she got shut down. But then Sumin asked for it. She's like, can I tweak it and resubmit it? And she did do that. But because the manager liked Sumin, it got approved. And that is what got Sumin on Facts Track. Because in 2023, Sumin isn't a manager, right? Sumin is a manager.
A fancy car.
Right. But then Jiwon never got promoted. She's still stuck of being an assistant manager. So again, this is Jiwon trying to like switch her fate, right?
Ah, okay. I missed that.
Yes. Yeah. So this is her trying to do this, right? So we have this like really weird moment where like basically the manager doesn't read. He's incompetent.
Right.
All he does is scream at people, yell at people, but he only likes Sumin. So he'll do whatever Sumin wants, right? Terrorizes everyone.
He keeps having visions of them having a baby together.
Yeah, it's insane. So, right?
Because she shows her proposal to Manager Young.
Manager Young, yes.
Yes. And Sumin.
Assistant Manager Young.
Assistant Manager. And Sumin is.
She sees, right?
She's off in the cut, being nosy.
So Jiwon is trying to convince Assistant Manager Young to team up with her in this meal kit. She's like, I know for a fact that loser manager is not reading anything.
He's not reading
shit. Screaming. You're better than him. You're clearly like, I need you. Like, let's do this together. We can make this happen, right? And of course, Assistant Manager Young is very like, I would say she's incredibly like, this is the behavior of most women, right? She feels like she needs to step back.
Yes.
Not speak up for herself.
Yes.
She's like, well, it's a workplace. Of course my manager is going to take credit for my work.
Of course my superior took my work.
Exactly. So for her, it's like, no, I don't want to really like, you know, I don't want to really rock the boat. I'm okay with this. I think you're wrong. There's no way the manager didn't read your stuff.
Right.
Like, he's a good guy. Like, he's you know, he's a certain way, but, you know, she's like defending him.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jiwon is basically like, okay, well then how about this? I know for a fact that he doesn't read anything. So I'm going to resubmit the same proposal that I gave him and let's see what happens. So she's like, if he doesn't realize that it is the same proposal, then you and I are going to team up together.
And she goes, okay.
We'll see. So then Jiwon submits it.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, she changes the color, which I love. She's like,
All
changes the
she
color.
did was change the color from blue to yellow.
Yes. All she does is change the color. And of course, the reaction is
You women, you can't do nothing. Why are you sending this to me? You didn't do this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah.
It's worse than the last one.
It's worse than the last one. He's hollering and yelling and he's screaming again. Mm-hmm. And then she goes, oh, I'm sorry.
I love this. I love this so much.
This is the wrong one. You're right. This is the wrong one. Let me give you the right version.
Yeah.
And then you see assistant manager Young look up and go, wait a fucking minute.
And then everyone
in the
office, bullpen is like, fucking idiot.
How embarrassing this is for him. It's a great moment because honestly, when I was watching it, I was like, how is she going to prove that he didn't read this? And so when I saw she changed the color, I'm like, okay, she changed the color, but how does she prove it? And then when she goes, oh, I'm so sorry, I did give you the exact same one. Here's the updated one. And so she's very
so
loudly says,
she's very smart.
I'm sorry I gave you the same one. Let me give you the updated one. And I feel like she still never gives him an updated one because then she gave him another blue one. I feel like she never gave him anything new.
No.
And so, but he's like shrinking and I'm just like, oh, how is he going to punish her?
Right.
For this.
And then Sumin, right, had reached out to him. She was like waiting for him come out of the bathroom or something, some weird shit. And she's basically like, Oppa. She doesn't say Oppa yet, but she's like, manager, can we meet? I have some ideas. I just want to talk to you about something. And she starts flirting and he's so excited to see her.
And again, flashes to be in her baby's volleyball.
And then after that happens, right, assistant manager Yang teams up with Jiwon, and then Heeyeon, our intern, they're all like excited. They celebrate. They're having their coffee.
They're having their little coffee.
And then Sumin in the corner looking at them. She's so pissed. She's so upset.
She's also the way she's whipping up this coffee. Girl, the flick of the wrist. So she's whipping up this coffee. Because I know it's like the pre-made packs.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have a bunch of those at my house.
So good.
So pre-made packs. And she slides it across there like it's a pint. It's like, shoosh, shoosh.
She goes and she understands what's happening, right? She goes and she peers over at Jiwon's desk to look at
the
proposal. So then she starts scheming with manager Kim. So they go to a pork barbecue place, right? Mm-hmm. They're drinking. And she's like calling him Oppa. She's like, Oppa.
Because the proposal needs his help. And he's kind of like, yeah, sure, blah, 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 blah. And then he crosses out. He basically is like, he almost like gives it to her, but like first of all, the thing that bothered my mom so much is he was eating fried chicken and licking his fingers.
Oh, he was eating the pork. Yes.
Oh, no, this is the pork one. So he sucks the chopsticks then grabs the pork, and my
then
mother
gives
was
it
like,
to her, and she's like, and then she notices, and she still has to eat it. You know, she doesn't actually eat it. She just kind of
no, she never touches it.
She plays with it, but she basically is lying, saying like, you know, Jiwon, she talks shit about you. Jiwon went to Hanguk University, which is like probably the equivalent of one of like, you know, like a Seoul National University, right? So she's like, so, you know, she kind of like looks down on people like us, like normies who went to like regular universities, and he's getting all worked up. Right? He's getting pissed. He's like, oh, you know.
And see, that's why I was going back to the sleeves.
Insecure little man.
Insecure man.
She's such a fucking yo. And then, yeah, so she's like, let's do this. They're going to do their own version of the meal kit plan. So, you know, they're going to
link up together.
Then we go to a scene with Minhwan, right? With Trash Ass.
Oh, yeah, they're changing colors. Okay, hold on.
Trash Ass goes, and he is talking to his friend, okay? They're at the bowling alley, okay? He basically tells his friend that he's really into Sumin. He's really into his girlfriend's best friend. So the best friend's like, why don't you just go hit it? Like, just hit it. Who cares? And then Trash Bag is like, I'm not that much of a dirt bag. Like, I can't do that, you know? So he still somewhat has morals, but he basically says that Jiwon is the only wife material. She's boring, but she's a good wife material because she's smart, she's kind and economical, and she's going to give good babies and be a good wife. So that's the only reason he's with her.
And he doesn't spend, and she doesn't spend money. She takes care of the family. You can see that he's cheating on her.
Oh,
because he's keeping her around purely to marry her.
Marry her, and then he's talking to other women. So there's a scene where he tries to talk to the women
at the bowling alley and be a fucking creep.
So he is being a creep. He's a cheater. He's just not a good guy, right?
He's a creep. He's a scrub.
Right.
Are we still calling people scrubs?
He is a scrub.
Are we, Mr. Thomas? Are we still calling people scrubs?
I don't really hear that term.
We need to bring this back.
We don't want no scrub. A scrub isn't a guy that can get no love from me.
Oh man, but the problem is you don't know if you're dealing with a scrub till you know you got dishes in the sink.
I feel like nowadays you can see a scrub. We move on to Jiwon is still at work because she's a hard little worker bee and she has to figure out a meal plan or
and
meal
hopefully
kit
gain
plan.
these 37 kilos back.
Right. And then she noticed that Sumin leaves her a gift, okay? A little gift and a card. And it's a pair of earrings. And I think in the thing, she's basically like, oh, we should wear this to the barbecue on Saturday because they're going to go to the barbecue.
Because we're best friends, we're getting barbecue.
Exactly. So they're going to be little twins, okay? But then Jiwon remembers that Sumin tricked her into going to her high school reunion.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a solo barbecue date. It was to the entire high school reunion. And then we discover that poor Jiwon was bullied, right? Mm-hmm. She was a wangta, an outcast. A wangta is called outcast in Korean. Wangta. She was a wangta. And these women who were these girls who were friends with Sumin would terrorize
Well, they threw
Jiwon.
milk on her.
It makes me so
And
angry.
Sumin would be like, guys, don't do this. But she's kind of smiling.
Oh, she loves it. She loves it.
And those bullies like, oh, she's so nice. And they got to protect her from a loser like Jiwon. And I'm just like, what is?
Yeah. And then she remembers, as we go back to the flashback of the actual reunion where the bullies are basically like, why is this girl here? How dare she come here? Not knowing that it was all manipulated by Sumin, right? And they find her in the bathroom.
Because one of them is like, wait, she wasn't at the table. Where is she?
They go to and then they're like, because basically poor Jiwon is in the stall and she's like texting Sumin being like, I need to get out of here. Like, please, I don't feel comfortable. Can you please bring my stuff? She's in the stall, and then the bullies come and they like bust the door open on her.
But my mother was like, why didn't she just lock the door?
Yeah.
Because they're kicking in stalls. And I'm just like, how weak are these locks?
Exactly.
And how strong is this girl's leg?
People are not nice to her.
No.
She walks in and they're like, what the are you doing here?
If
like,
I was her, I would walk right back out.
Yeah. So
but Sumin's like, sit down. Oh my God, you're here.
Exactly. So Jiwon knows this is about to happen. So right. So we put in the back. But Jiwon is ready to go home, right? But then she has these Bopsy twins, psychos, both texting her being like, we have Minhwan.
They're
Trash
both drunk.
Bag is literally like, I'm drunk. I want to like literally. He's like sexting her, being like, hey, I'm going to come over. And then you have fucking psycho girl Sumin being like, you're my best friend. I love you. I'm going to come over. Why don't I spend the night? Like, it's a stalkerish fucking behavior because, again, she's losing control. She's losing control of Jiwon and it's bothering her, right?
Because she's making new friends.
Right. But then Jiwon's like,
Like this, one I love is, do they think this is a motel?
That was great. She's like, what the
Why is everybody trying to come to my house tonight? But then she's like, wait a minute. They're both drunk. Let's let them come over.
Yes. So
And-
then she realized that, but then Mr. Darcy comes.
Darcy Dim. And she's got her fake earrings.
Yes. And then what does he say?
And
to
she's
her?
in the elevator.
Yeah.
And he's like, don't wear those. They're fake. And it's obvious that they're fake.
Uh-huh.
And she realized that he was trying to help her.
Yes. Because the same thing happened 10 years ago where she thought he was being rude.
Mm-hmm.
But then she's like, oh no, he knew. So he's been trying to help me this entire time, which is very sweet.
Because Sumin wanted to come over, and so Sumin wants to come over, and then Darcy Nim sees her, and he's like, "Hey, I can give you a ride home," and she's like, "No, I have plans with my boyfriend." But what she's really trying to do is get these two dummies together. But I love when she goes to the liquor store. And it was like,
it's the Pyeongjam. It's not a liquor store. It's a Pyeongjam. It's a convenience store.
oh,
It's
okay,
great.
my bad. So little convenience store, and she's like, "Will this get you drunk?" And it's like, "What?"
Like the whiskey? Yeah, sure.
Yes, ma'am, it will get you f***ed up. That's how a lot of us are alive. Is because whiskey will get somebody drunk. And Sumin sends her this weird ass text message, and she's mad because she's like, I sent all these emojis. You didn't send me any emojis?
Yeah,
And
and then she's just like, I'm not coming over anymore. You make me mad. You make me mad. Why are you not talking to me?
Because it's again manipulative, because she's probably gonna be like, no, dude, come over. And she gets home.
Minhwan's already there.
Already there in the shower.
Getting ready.
For the sexy time. One, I thank him for taking the shower.
You know, in Korea, like most people, before you hook up, you take a shower, I think.
Honestly?
Because that's insinuated.
Because all the dramas that I've seen is just like, even married couples, it's like,
it's like, did you wash up? Are you clean?
man,
Did you shower?
have I ever showered before hooking up with a dude?
I mean, it's the polite thing to do.
All right, I did when I was younger. I did when I carried a bigger purse. I would always have baby wipes on me.
I think it's a polite thing to do. But, you know, America, it's just, you know, when you're like out and about.
Also,
No one's like, but like in Korea, you know, women or like young people, they hook up in motels, right? So you go to a motel. Because most young people live with their parents. Where are they going to have sex? They go to the motel. So the motel business is so like you don't want to sleep. Like you don't want to like, I think some people would like, you know, like book a motel to stay at. No, it's a sex motel. You don't want to do that. You want to stay at a hotel. But because there's a motel, I think they like shower and like, you know.
Hotel, motel, Holiday Inn.
Mm-hmm.
As someone whose mother lives in their house,
You may have to get a motel.
girl,
Oh.
they have a place to live. I don't really think he wants to sleep with her. I think he wanted to sleep with that other girl. Or anybody else. Because, like, I don't understand what this seduction is about. Because, like, he corners her. My mom...
He's just horny. He's drunk and he's horny.
He's drunk and he's horny. He's got
and
a
he
girlfriend.
has a girlfriend, so he just wants to fuck her.
I get it. But he was, like, bothered. It's been... Has he always been this aggressive with her? You think?
I think so.
I can say when he took his towel off and she started screaming, my mom was like, why is she yelling? She's seen it before. And I was like...
Well, the best part was she's like, let's just talk. And he's like, let's talk with our bodies. That made me laugh.
I can say
Let's
that I've had a
talk
man
with
say
our
that to me,
bodies.
and I was just like, I hablo this language. Let's talk with our bodies. Okay, so he drops the towel, and she screams, and that's the end of the episode. We're going to do a new segment we call Drama Lab.
Yes, where we analyze each episode.
We're going to pour our little, make a little experiment.
It's Drama Lab 101. We're college. Let it break it down.
My girl what moment for this was the flashback of the dropping the food on Jiwon. The purposeful making her fall, but specifically it's her
She taps
own,
her shoulder.
she taps her shoulder, Because if she had not, if she'd got them 37 kilos back, she probably wouldn't have been able to been knocked down so easily. But also, I want to see her with 81 more pounds on her. I think it'd be interesting.
I think she was literally basically, I think she went down to like probably like 90, 80 pounds. That's like not help. That's like,
no.
Anyways,
you know what? Listen, they have, if we could put a wild boar in the middle of anywhere, they could have just slimmed your face out just for this, right? But yeah, my girl wet moment was the shoulder check. She falls, she drops her own food on her. And then when she comes to check on her and drops even more food on her, that was my girl wet moment. And then also, I had a tie. It was her dropping, then Sumin not giving that girl a pad. Now, mind you, her not giving that girl a pad is how this friendship forms.
yes.
Which is a good thing for Jiwon. Mm-hmm. But her just hearing another woman. And I think for me as a woman, that was when I was just like, oh, Sumin this is a different level of awful. Because someone was a person needed help.
And she just didn't.
And every woman's been in that situation. We've had to wrap all this toilet paper around your panties until you can find something you can get to your purse. So you've definitely been in this place before.
She's just an incredibly rotten person.
Yes.
And again, I think we talked about this earlier, but I think she's comically like manipulative and awful,
right,
but
yeah.
She is your pick-me girl. Like she's that girl who she's probably when she's hanging out with guys, she's like, oh my God, I'm a guy's girl. Like I don't have any girlfriends. I only have Jiwon. Jiwonie's my one best friend, but like I prefer hanging out with just guys. Like I'm not like she is all about the fake sisterhood. Yeah. She's conniving. She will literally drop you. And we've seen this. She drops people at like as whenever it's convenient for her.
A hat don't have to drop before she drops somebody.
Exactly. So she is your stereotypical pick-me girl. She's like the definition of a pick-me. Mm-hmm. We all have had Sumins in our lives. So
pick-me girls hate me.
Oh, me too. Because you know why? Because we know we're not about that. No. Women can sense who, like assuming can sense a Jiwon, right? They sense weaker people and they want to keep weak women or like their little flunkies around. You know what I mean?
Real mean girl situation.
Yeah.
A Regina George always has
Regina George. Exactly. She's a Regina George, right? But then, a Katie Heron, because Katie in a weird way, like, I mean, not in a weird way, she at the core she's like a decent person at the core, right? The Reginas sniff that right away and they don't like it. That's why people like women like that don't like us because we sniff that right away and we shut down that bullshit.
So here's my question. Are we rooting for Jiwon and Darcy Nim yet? Or are we still suspicious of him? Because we don't know because we know he looked up the high school shit. And we know he went to go see the chef, but we don't know what the chef dude is for. We don't know what the campaign is. Because when he slammed his hand on the side of the elevator, and I was like, okay, and he's helping her, and he's motivating her. It's like, okay, Darcy Nim.
I think it'll go both ways. I think initially I was like, why is he so like obsessed with her? But that's like not a bad thing either. I'm rooting for them because I feel like one thing I do like about Jiwon and Darcy Nim's interaction is that I feel like she's her real confident self around him. She speaks up. When she's around Minhwan, right? Trash bag, she would never be able to speak up or like her truth, right? Because he was like abusive towards her. But with Darcy Nim, I feel like she feels true comfort around him. And she feels safe. So she's able to be herself. So she says like, no. So he'll be like, hey, can I drive you home? And she's like, nope, I'm good. I don't need your help. Like she's her knight in shining armor. But I think she also, and as the episodes go on, she has boundaries though. And she's willing to kind of like speak up and be like, this is my boundary. No, thank you. And I like that. That's why I like this character so much because he's respectful. But more importantly, I feel like Jiwon feels comfortable around him. So I'm like, okay, So that's where I'm kind of like he is her safe space. So that's why I am rooting for them. But when I but in the beginning though, the first watch, I wasn't sure what was going on. Because it's like, why is this person there every step of the way?
Oh, he's outside.
I mean, he saved her like 100 times already.
Yes.
In this episode too.
And it's like, well, how does he know where to? Okay, this is our makjang. Do we just need a shirt that says makjang? We just get nameplate necklaces that say makjang? Okay, honestly, I'm not I'm rooting for him.
Yeah.
I was rooting for him from the beginning. It's like I was, even with the high school shit, I was like, yeah, sure, fine.
And I think for me too is like, he is your, like, you know, when you think of the K-drama lead, the swoony K-drama lead, like, this is it. I
trusted the process.
I was swooning. Like, this is what I did not have from Hyunwoo, from Kim Seon's character. I just never thought he was swoony. You know what I mean?
But that's what made that drama so popular, because it flipped the whole tropes on its head, because he wasn't happy in his relationship. He wasn't happy with where he was in his life. He was crying and drinking and saying, but I'm so cute when I'm drunk. Also, what is this? That was nuts. And so, okay, so do you think this, so we're both rooting for them. Now, do you think this show is trying to say that women have to play the kind of like same manipulative games to win in like this very patriarchal world? Because it's like, because you see, you know, manager Young, she doesn't play the game, and she looks very stressed out at work. Her hair looks exhausted. But then Sumin is out here being Geppetto in this bitch. And I think she's definitely going to get where she needs to go.
I do. Because to me, it's like, remember we talked about the fox and the bear?
Yes.
Right? So we have our bear characters, right? Assistant manager Young. And then Jiwon too. She's a bear. They're both
I think
bears.
she started out as a possum. No, or like a chipmunk. I think she was a chipmunk or a little squirrel. And then now she's getting into her bear gig.
Yeah.
But I think before that, she's a little squirrel.
She is, but again, it's like, she's not a fox yet, but she is putting on those fox-like tendencies in order to get her way. And I agree. I think especially in corporate America, you need a little bit of that. You can't just be a bear. You got to be fox, meaning you have to be a little bit more cunning. You got to play the game. It's politics, right? Cunning, and at the end of the day, Sumin is smart. She gets the politics of it. She understands this crazy manager is a sexist pig. She knows she's attractive, so she's going to play that fucking game. Is that good? No. But at the end of the day, in 2023, right, timeline A, she got what she wanted.
I mean, as long as you're not, little flirting don't hurt nobody. As long as somebody's not getting all up inside.
Right. You got to be kind of like in the middle, I guess.
Heeyeon, we don't know what she is yet. We just know she's fun. Because it seems like she's not playing.
She's playing no game.
She's playing no game.
Homegirl is out here.
I'm just here eating delicious food.
She's the perfect foil to like a Sumin. She really is.
Because it's like, oh, you could just do your job and just be a nice person.
She is carefree. She is happy, but she's also like, we learn why she is so carefree.
Yeah, we do carefree and happy because it's like.
I'd be carefree and happy too.
Yeah, if you're living that life, because we find out what grandpa is really up to. So at this point in the show, who would you rather fight? Minhwan or Sumin? Like, who would you rather have to go up against? For me,
I think Sumin, because I think like
I would go up against Sumin, but I think for her, Minhwan, you'd have to kill him. Truly. My mother told me, and this is a direct quote from Marianne Hill, some you got to shoot in the head, because if you shoot them in the chest, they keep going.
Oh my God.
So
that's a trash bag. Trash
right.
bags.
Now, mind you, I'm second generation suburbs, but sometimes you end up places you're not supposed to be. Right? And Mia, and sometimes you just places you're not supposed to be. So, Minhwan, the fact that he will do that, whoop up on her in public, you have to have that one. You have to find out. You have to stick another man on him.
This character is incredibly scary.
He's awful.
He's terrifying. It's like the more like, again, I don't think maybe in my first watch I felt this way, but then the second watch,
it's a whole
he
flips
very quickly. He is clearly, he may be bipolar. No, maybe not bipolar.
No, he's just the man who got mad and didn't get his way. It's just somebody that's not getting their way. That's all this is. How dare you break up with me? How dare you leave me?
Narcissist.
Right. And so, but with Sumin, I feel like you don't have to physically fight her.
No, it's a brain thing.
All
it's a
mental.
Manipulation,
You
mental.
have to break
Again,
her down.
But people like her, if you're stronger than her, she will back down.
Yes.
Like if you think about the bullies, right, from her high school,
She wasn't f***ing with them.
She wasn't. She's scared of her. In fact, she was sitting there. So if you're a person of power, she's gonna sit there and suck up to you.
Right.
But if you show any sort of weakness, she preys on the weak. You know,
Because she didn't have any power.
oh my god, I know. There are people like this.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, what it comes down to is just deep-rooted insecurity.
Absolutely.
Deep-rooted insecurity that forces you to you want to feel better than the other person. I mean, just Jiwon is so much better clearly as a person.
Well, because
compared to this girl.
she gains power, confidence, she gets emotional clarity.
Yeah,
She's not being
development.
passive. She's setting traps.
She's smart.
She's making moves and she's playing the long game. And then
Sumin is literally passive-aggressive, pick-me girl.
face crack.
She is a competitor. She is not nice. She's all about the fake sisterhood. She's like syrupy sweet.
The themes we're looking at is fate is something to be transferred.
Right. So this is the mechanics of it, right?
Yeah.
I really do like the fact that the drama explains what this is all like. We kind of go on the journey of Jiwon like figuring out what this all means. Like, why is she back in time, right? How does this work? Is she able to change? It's like the butterfly effect, right? Like, if she does one thing, how is that going to affect everything? So she's figuring out the mechanics of it. So she's realizing, okay, fate's not going to change. Everything that's going to happen is going to happen in the future.
Right.
But I can just move that over. I can avoid it. So if I run away, if I don't get hurt, then someone else is going to get hurt. If I don't marry Minhwan, Sumin can marry Minhwan, right?
Because she has to. Because it's like, because what she could have done is because she can't just break up with him. Because he will probably hurt her. I mean, he will definitely hurt her. So there's that. There's the toxic female friendship with Sumin, where it's like sweet and nurturing, but also possessive, competitive, and manipulative. There's survival through strategy. So she's using her knowledge of the future and she manipulates things to gain control over her life because this has to be, I said to somebody one day, we always talk about relationship breakups, but we never talk about friend breakups. Yeah. That's not something that we cover a lot because it's like because it's like you build in when you start like dating somebody, it's built in. That's just like, oh, this could end. It could end badly. It can end well, but it's it. When you're friends with somebody, you don't ever expect a friendship. No one ever talks to you about friendships ending badly because it's like you could have been friends with this person for years, deeply loved them, your families know each other, stuff like that. Because I have like my cousin who's not even real family to me, as in blood family, but he's chosen family. We've been friends since I was in the 7th grade. So I call him my cousin because we're from the South, play cousins, but also it's like we've been friends since I was in the 7th grade. My Mexican family is because it's my homeboy's family, my friends and my homegirl's family. And so their family literally, like when I talk about my niece, that's their cousin's daughter. So it's a whole chosen family thing, but we never talk about how like friendships can be very toxic and abusive. We only talk about like, well, a romantic partner.
Well, I think for me, even at a young age, I think I did a fairly good job of distancing myself from people. So I've had some friendships where I just had to step away.
Yes.
We never talked about it, but for me, it was the right thing. I've actually, at every phase of my life, starting when I was younger till even now, well, not now, it's different, but up until like my late 20s, I've had that happen because for me, it's like I don't have the energy.
Right.
And I want to surround myself with people that I truly care about.
Yes.
And it is not worth it. Just as like it's not worth it being in a toxic relationship.
Right.
It is not worth being a toxic friendship either, because that's just like not healthy. I really do feel, and I love the fact that this story, I mean, most of the dramas we are going to talk about are probably written by women. But again, this one I feel like really, really hits the nail on the head of the things that like women go through.
So most of these are, so you think we're picking the dramas that we're picking because they're written by women, or a lot of Korean dramas written by women?
A lot of Korean dramas are written by women, but I also think that I wonder though, I wonder, I would be curious to see like our favorite dramas ever, right? The things that we really enjoyed, whether they're written by women or men. Because in the past, like I have a bunch of dramas from like the 2000s, right? Like we talk about like Tamil and all of that. I don't know. I actually don't know who wrote that, like if it's a man or a woman. And I'd be very curious to see. But I think that, again, I don't know what it is about this show, but I feel like we may be a little bit more connected because it was written, it's like a romance, you know what I mean? So there's a little bit of that. But again, I just felt it just resonated with me so much more than Queen of Tears.
Oh, absolutely.
So we're back next Wednesday to chase the 3rd episode of Marry My Husband. Thank God these episodes are short. I love it. They're like an hour and like a couple minutes. We love a fun action-packed drama that is less than 90 minutes. That's the goal. So we would love for you guys to follow us, subscribe, like, comment, all the things on all the platforms that we're on, right? YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, TikTok, Instagram, everywhere. And then if you want to send us comments, please send them to chasingkdramas@gmail.com. We also have a website that you should check out. And that's it. We will be back next week, like we said. Okay, so thank you so much, Sarangees. Okay? 사랑해.
Chasing K-Dramas is hosted and executive produced by Dulcé, Sloan, and me, Chrissy Choi. I edit the audio and video, and our production is led by Thomas Yuen from TY Media and Go Get 'Em Productions. Our artwork is designed by Yice Cream. We're an indie podcast, and we're always looking for fun partnerships. If you're a brand that's interested in sponsoring our chases, or if you're a fan who just wants to stay in touch, please check out our website at chasingkdramas.com.